Hey guys, this is Sydnee A. I am your host of Necro-Fiends of the Frozen Dead, and I am also the author of Everything I Need to Know I Learned in Go-Go, How a Preacher's Daughter Pole Danced Her Way to Finding Her True Self. You can pick up my book at learnedingogo.com, but for now, we are here to celebrate 25 years of Johnny Necro and the Frozen Dead. And I cannot wait to welcome another friend of Johnny's. This is REESE Bowling. Everybody say, yay, REESE! Yay! Thank you so much for joining me. How are you doing tonight?
Doing well. How about you?
Oh, I'm just groovy. No complaints. So I'm so glad you could join us today. And I would love to know the background of how you know our good friend Johnny.
So I met Johnny virtually over a year ago, but I discovered his artwork long before I had social media, and just seeing it at different conventions. Some people had it or showing it off, wearing shirts, stuff like that. And then I started following his Facebook pages, and so that's how we started becoming acquainted. And that's how I started learning about Frozen Dead and the comics. But what really stuck out was his horror adorables.
They are really cute. Like they're one of a kind for sure.
Definitely.
So how many of those do you have in your collection?
So when I got a copy of the Frozen Dead, the newest one, when I got this,
Yes.
I was able to choose some stickers from his horror adorables collection.
Oh, nice.
So I got the Amanda Kruger one and Minor 49er, and then I
Awesome.
got one of all the horror adorables.
Oh, that is so cool. There are so many to choose from. That's why I was like, what did you pick? Because there are just so many different ones out there.
Mhm.
And for those watching at home, you can get your own horror adorables. This is Johnny's Linktree. Just go to Linktree Frozen Dead 13, and that's where you can find all of his links for the horror adorables, the comics, the music, the movies coming up. So one thing Johnny is busy. So I'm super excited about this upcoming comic, but you have definitely gotten more experience with the storyline than me. So, what is your favorite part of the Johnny Necro story so far?
I do love all of it. I love the part when they're going through, just the process, seeing all the different art, in the middle, towards the middle part of the book. And then as they're coming towards the end, you see, Trauma and Uncle Lloyd. It all has its own points, and I just love every part of it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm a newbie to Trauma. So, have you been into that universe for a while? That
I've been in
community?
Trauma since the pandemic. So
Okay,
while during the pandemic, I've discovered Nukem High, and so that
nice.
was the first thing I discovered, and then it branched out into other parts of Trauma.
Yeah, that's absolutely like fast. I can't wait to watch more and more of these indie films because they're so, again, original and one of a kind. So it's super cool to like get into that universe as well. So I have some of your stuff that I want you to tell everybody about. So what is Spooky Films? That's your Instagram, right?
That's actually my buddy's Instagram, but I work with him. So his name is Stelios Delanio, and he's
Oh,
based here in Michigan. So his business is called Spooky Films, and he's been running it for a long time. He does videography, photography, and everything in between. He hosts a lot of haunted attractions. So back in 2022, he started doing haunted attractions. And so back in 2023, I became one of his haunt actors.
oh,
So,
so what do you do? Are you a zombie or are you like
uh,
a,
so in 2023, I was a clown,
oh,
and
okay.
so I was a sinister clown. And we did like a circus theme where we sold our souls to spooky films. And
Nice.
but this previous haunt that we did last month for May, we were patients, and we were slowly turning into scarecrows.
Okay, that's awesome. So you do them year round. It's not just for Halloween.
So we just recently started doing halfway haunts. So we are looking to continue that for years to come because it was a great success. But our next haunt will be in October for 3 Fridays and 3 Saturdays.
Nice. Do you know what are you going to be the patients again, or is it a whole new theme? And can you share?
Yeah, we will be doing patients again. I can't tell you the storyline
Okay.
because we're still working it, but I won't be playing a patient. I'll be playing something else.
Gotcha. So do you have any good stories? Like, did anybody ever pee their pants, or did you ever have like somebody come at you?
We did have someone a gentleman who peed his pants.
Oh.
Actually, we made a big high school football player. He came in and I jumped out at him and he actually started crying.
Oh my God.
When I was the clown. But at this previous haunt, I don't know what happened, but we gave her poor girl a panic attack. She had to be escorted out halfway through the haunt.
Well, that shows how good your acting is. I do feel bad for her, but that's, a credit to your scaring ability.
Thank you. It's a team effort. There's about 13 of us.
Well, that's a good number for a spooky event to have 13 of you.
Yes.
That is pretty cool. So is this the crew or is this another group?
So some of these people in the picture are part of the hunt. So the gentleman on the far left, that's actually Stelio.
Okay.
So the gentleman who's next to me would be on my left. That's Andrew McGowan, and then next to him is his girlfriend Autumn. And so back last year, he started a group called Andrew's Paranormal Experience, and I joined his group October of last year, and we just been going throughout Michigan. I haven't been able to do as many investigations with him, but I've been able to do a couple at the beginning of this year and looking to do more summer and the fall and things like that.
Awesome. So you have to have some good stories from paranormal investigating. Yes. Please share.
Yes, back in January, end of January, we investigated the Michigan Museum of Horror, which is here in Monroe. And that place, I believe the building was built in 1869.
Okay.
And it has had a lot of businesses and so on and so forth. But there's a lot of that strip of building, actually, that whole strip of buildings was built on top of a graveyard. And so there's cholera patients and men, women, and children.
Oh, wow.
When we've been in there at night, because it's only been Andrew and I there, and we'll hear children walking around, or we'll hear women walking around. We'll hear it all, talking, knocking.
Have they tried to chase you out, or is it more like you're observing and they're not aware that you're there?
They've told us that they can see us, but we can't, see them. But they're like, "Oh, I'm over here. I'm sitting by you." But we've had some darker spirits come through and tell us that, "Oh, I can make you leave. I don't like you," and we will feel a heavy presence in that sense. But we actually did, when we were getting ready to leave, the door was locked and we didn't touch the door. So we had to yank on
it. That's it. I 100% am a believer in the paranormal. And when you were talking about it, I was like, oh, I'm getting goosies. Like, it's just, I can absolutely feel that energy because I've always been sensitive is I guess the word. So I in my college dorm room, we had a ghost, and everybody that encountered him thought it was a little boy, which we don't know why. Maybe they were buried there before they built the college. I don't know, but he would just hide stuff. Like, he was just an ornery little kid, so we didn't mind him. But yeah, I've been in situations where the energy is not nice, and you don't want to carry that out with you. So
that's why we sage ourselves after every investigation.
Good. You got to stay safe. Where else have you been able to investigate?
We investigated a metaphysical store in Wyandotte called Quartz Metaphysical. We've done one investigation there. That was actually my first day as a paranormal investigator. And I had to wake my buddy up because a spirit attached itself to him and he blacked out. But he was like in a trance sort of. So he was still walking around and talking, but it didn't sound like him.
Right, because it wasn't him.
It wasn't. And he was walking around just feeling everything, but he wasn't he just looked at me, and when I was looking back at him, it wasn't his face, it wasn't his eyes. So it took a little bit. It took about 5 minutes to wake him up.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you could, because that's scary. Yeah, you don't want to go in one person and come out another. That's not the way to do it. That's really, really cool though that you're having these experiences.
It is. I've been wanting to do this for years, so it's really cool to be able to do it now.
Awesome. So worldwide, if there's one place on your paranormal investigation bucket list that you would want to go visit, what would that be?
I would love to go to the big cemetery in New Orleans where Marie Laveau is at, because I know that they do have paranormal investigations there. But I know it's one of the most haunted locations, I believe, in America, because the coffins or caskets were built on top of one another in the tombs. So they said there's possibly over 100,000 bodies in there.
I believe it. I did actually, I've been to that cemetery. It was a long time ago and it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So it wasn't the spookiest time, but the way that everyone's buried above ground because of the water level there, they'll
Mhm.
just toss you in. And her tomb's been desecrated so many times that I would not blame her for getting angry and coming after people because, you have to respect.
Yeah,
So,
they said if you well, people sometimes will leave letters for her, and because they said she still works beyond the grave. But
mhm.
they say if she likes you, she'll grant your what you ask for, or she'll, read your letter and appear to her as herself. But if she doesn't like you, she'll actually appear as a boa constrictor.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I'd want to take that gamble. Like, I think I'm pretty likable, but I don't know what she would think. No, that's a really great choice because, like I said, I love New Orleans and it's got definite energy that no place else does because of all of the history and all of the paranormal activity that goes on in there. So I really hope you get to go
One day,
investigate that.
I hope. Thank you.
That is awesome. So I also have I'm dying to hear the backstory to this because when I saw this picture, I'm like, there has to be an awesome story behind Misfit Rabbits.
Yes. So I recently started working with Misfit Rabbits. That was along with Spooky Films. So when Spooky started doing the haunts, he started working with a gentleman by the name of Cliff, and who runs Misfit Rabbits, and he's been doing haunts over around 30 years, I believe. I mean,
Oh wow.
he's not new to the game at all, and he's done everything: acting, setup, tear down, and design. And he actually helps come up with our storylines. He's like the brain behind it. And he's a great guy to work with. It's great to just hear stories, because he's worked in Chicago and Michigan and just all throughout. And he's a great guy to work with, and I definitely recommend working with him if you want to do a haunted attraction.
That is so cool because there has to be so much planning to make sure that it can safely be a spooky time. So,
Most definitely.
do you know how he came up with Misfit Rabbits? Like, is there a story behind that name?
I'll have to ask him about it. I haven't really gotten the chance to talk to him about the company, except for that he's been involved with so many haunts, because I want to know his points of view from setup, tear down. So, but he's a great guy, and I'll definitely have to ask him. And when I do, I'll let you know the story behind Misfit Rabbits.
Please, because it's such a great name. I'm like, something had to have inspired that. So
Mhm.
that is super duper cool.
He says we're misfits, so I think that's one of the main reasons.
You're misfits that are maybe it's because he wants to multiply all the
Hmm.
misfits like
I think
rabbits.
so.
So
Hmm.
that would make sense.
Hmm.
Super cool. So, Michigan Museum of Horror, what is your affiliation and tell us about that?
So my buddy Nate Thompson, he's been born and raised here in Monroe, and he's also a filmmaker. He's done horror short films such as like The Dead Record, Cult Affairs, and The Cult Leader. And so I started working with him March of 2022, and he opened the Michigan Museum of Horror in October of 2022. And so my buddy's paranormal group, we've investigated there as I said, but we're also going to be appearing at some of his events. So he has like the Michigan Oddities and Horror Fest coming up in the end of this month, and then he has also one in February. So the Michigan Museum of Horror has been open for 2 years now, and he has everything and anything a horror lover would want. He has a real human skeleton in a glass coffin.
That is so cool.
He has some of John Wayne Gacy's objects. He has Richard Ramirez's objects. So, and he's always bringing new stuff in. He's now growing a collection of Ouija boards. So,
Oh, okay. You got to
I
be
believe
careful with that.
yes, he has over 20 of them, I believe now.
Wow.
So, and he also has one that he got when the museum opened, and it's a haunted Ouija board.
See, that's what scares me. I do believe in that. Like, I would want to make sure the portal was closed. That being said, I do have a mat that's a Ouija board that I put in my kitchen, and then my dogs will start like scooting on it. I'm like, if you call some spirits, like, because you're scooting your butt on my mat, like, get off.
Yes.
That's really cool, though. Have you ever been to Philadelphia?
I have not been to Philadelphia yet.
There is a museum. It's called the Mutter Museum. People call it the Mutter Museum, but it's German. And it's filled with human skeletons. It's filled with medical mutations and oddities. So there's all kinds of like jars of different type of, is the plural of fetuses?
Okay.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Like, but also all kinds of different, like when you said skeletons, I think they have like the Elephant Man's. No, he's in Europe, but like somebody with the same condition and all, and it's fascinating to see, But when you said that, I'm like, you would probably enjoy that because it's all kinds of different things that you don't get to see anywhere else.
Yes, I'll definitely have to go out that way and see it.
Yeah, I can show you around Philly.
All right.
I'm real close to Philly, so
Okay, cool.
You'll definitely have to come out and visit.
Yes.
So then we have, what's the kitty cat for?
That is also Spooky Films logo.
Oh,
so,
okay.
That's where we are. So yeah, Stelios' nickname is Spooky, but he loves black cats.
Nice.
And the funny thing is, he's never had a black cat.
Really? He just likes to love them from afar?
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's had pet cats, just never a black one.
Right. Wow.
Funny. Yeah, and I asked him, oh, you always had a black cat growing up? He goes, no. And I'm like, well, why the black cat? He's like, well, it's spooky season and Halloween, so. But he has like a giant cat head that he'll sometimes wear. And
that is awesome. Mm-hmm. You gotta like represent the black cat even if you don't have one. Yes. And maybe one will claim him down the line because that's how most people get their cats. They get claimed by the cat. So yes. That is super cool. I used to have a black cat named Desdemona.
Oh, nice.
Her middle name was Vivica. All of my pets have middle names so that I can call them more effectively. But she was born with a little bunny tail. Okay. So she was like a spooky black cat with this little nub that would be like, like you couldn't really think she was spooky because she was too cute. And now I want to know all about, this is actually your friend's shop, correct?
Yes. So my friend Sydnee owns a shop in downtown Monroe called Hidden Intuition. And this isn't the original location. She moved to her current location December 9th, I believe, of 2023.
Oh, okay.
So she sells tarot cards and crystals and just anything you'd ever want. But she also does like necklaces and rings, bracelets, a lot of incense. And it's always really always going when I go, when I stop in and see her. And she's actually just down the street from the museum.
Oh, okay. So you can, if you go to Monroe, you can hit all of the places.
Yes, you can go to the Michigan Museum of Horror and then just walk down a little bit the sidewalk, then hang a right, and she's right there.
That's so. I love mystical shops. I love crystals. I love incense. I love all of those things. And her name is Sydnee, so yes. I love her. I love her already.
She's great.
Do you have a favorite part of what she sells in the shop? Like, are you drawn to one area, or is it just the whole vibe?
The whole vibe is great. I'm always drawn to her, her crystals, especially the halite crystals, because I'm always drawn to those.
Nice.
I'll sometimes, like, one of my rings has a halite crystal in them, or I'll wear sometimes around my neck a halite crystal.
Excellent. I'm not familiar with what that crystal is for, like what it represents. Could you tell me?
So a halite crystal, it's traditionally white and it looks like it has gray or black cracks in it. It's not broken, but it looks like it has cracks. And it symbolizes taking stress away and anxiety and replacing it with like peace and strength.
I love that. I have my amethyst around my neck right now. And then nice. I have my rainbow hematite that I wear all the time for the same like energy calming, and it definitely has helped. So
nice.
I really think a lot of people would benefit from trying these like ancient ways of dealing with stress and sickness and, just like clarity. I think a lot of people would be a lot happier they took more time in metaphysical shops.
Yes, they would.
That's
And
awesome.
down the line, we're going to shoot a horror film in there. Actually, my buddy Andrew, who does the paranormal investigations, he's starting writing a script for a horror film.
Oh, okay. Like, can you tell us a little bit about it, or is it all still in the works?
So we're talking like a late '80s horror movie, and we have a killer.
I
And
love it already.
yes, and so he's like dressed late '80s, so I'll probably wear a bandana around my head. So we'll shoot it. We'll use it as a metaphysical store, but it's all going to be shot throughout town, and because everything's within walking distance, and so we're going to shoot like scenes in the alleys because all the alleys look. Even though it's paved on the outside, it's all gravel, and so we're going to shoot it like as if it's old roads, and we'll shoot on the bridge because we have a long bridge. They just painted it. So we're going to shoot it like how it used to look because they painted it a couple weeks ago. So it looks like how it used to, how it looked back then.
That's awesome. That worked out in your favor.
Yes.
Thank you for painting the bridge for us. Now we can shoot it. Yes. That is super cool. Well, as somebody who grew up in the 80s, I'm like super excited to see this. Absolutely. Does the killer have like a name, or is it just the killer for now?
We just call him the killer. He's about 6'5", I believe, and yeah, I mean he's big.
Wow.
Yeah, but he's gonna be like a hillbilly, I think, is what we're going for. So it's like sort of urban legend-ish come to life.
I love that. You can't go wrong with a killing hillbilly. Like, it's like a killbilly.
Yes, it's what we're going for, even though it's late '80s. It's Leatherface meets Rob Zombie.
Okay, I can definitely get down with that. Yes. What is your favorite horror movie of all time?
I would have to go with the first horror movie I saw, which was Frankenstein with Boris Karloff.
Oh, all right, classic.
And I saw that actually at 3 years old.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people are really surprised at the age. But my mom put it on, and I was just like, you'll see kids on like TV, they're like glued when they see like Batman or Superman, they see superheroes. I was like glued to the TV when I saw Boris Karloff.
I bet you were. You were like, I know what my life path is going to be now. I love the horror.
Mm-hmm. And then that led to Bela Lugosi and Vincent Price.
Vincent Price was the king. He's amazing. His voice, I could just listen to it all day. Awesome.
He recorded some audiobooks later on in his career, so that really served him well.
Yes, that is awesome. And he, is one of the few people to have a speaking part in a like #1 pop song. Like Thriller, to have that is very unique.
Yes.
So that came out, I was so little that I wouldn't even say hell, I'd spell it out because I didn't want to get in trouble. The hounds of HE double hockey sticks,
Yes. When I was younger, I couldn't say the H in hell, so I said L. So it was Hounds of L.
That's adorable. Do you like all of the classic monsters, or are you just partial to a couple?
I like all of them, but Frankenstein's always been my favorite.
Very cool. Another quick fact about near me is the theater in Phoenixville where they filmed The Blob. Mm-hmm. Where everybody came running out, and The Blob is like, and they show that once a year now. They'll have like a showing of it, and you're in the theater that they're like all running and screaming out of in the movie. So that's pretty cool. It's amazing the effects that they could do back then because they had to come up and be creative.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a favorite Universal monster?
Oh, I don't. It would have to be Dracula. I've always been a vampire girl, so. Like walking in, I was talking with Johnny. Johnny's got this imitation. I'm not going to ruin it, but you'll have to see his good evening for yourself. It is hilarious.
Yes.
It is up there. So, but when I was growing up, my uncle lived with us, and he would watch like Creature Double Feature and like all the TV shows that were the little short horror stories. And he would be terrified, and I'd be like, when's the next one coming on? Like, I just enjoyed them so much.
That's great.
Yep. I think it's fun. And, like, what's the most creative way that you've done, because you're in these horror movies, have you been able to create your own special effects?
So, yes, we have done special effects. We've done more special effects with our haunts. And so, but with horror films, we've done We did a couple scenes that ended up being scrapped, but we had like a wrestler going mad, and he had a baseball bat with a circular saw blade on it, and he was in like a card shop, and he hits the shop owner. So it looks like he hits him here, but it was cut, and we did an extra shot right when he hits it and had a different angle, and it looks like he hit him.
Oh, okay. So you took out the circular saw?
Yeah. So we got a circular saw that didn't have the sharp edge on it,
right?
Just on the outside, and it looks like it went into his neck.
That is awesome. See, I love that kind of stuff. Like when you're creative and you do that. My dad, which is funny, he's a minister, so a lot of people wouldn't think that he would do this, but he and his friends made a horror movie.
Really?
When he and my mom were first married, and she was having a cow and a half because they were swinging a real axe at each other, and it was called No Traveler Returns, and it was like on 8mm film because this was in the 60s, like or early 70s, and it's so funny to like see the effects that they did, with the hand in the graveyard and everything. It's like it's really enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. That's what I like about old horror movies, to see their special effects and how they did the editing process.
Yep. I remember being little and taking actual film and scratching it so it would look like you were like pew pew, and you'd scratch the film. So you can do a lot with some creativity for sure.
Most definitely.
That is awesome. Well, what else is going on with you? What else can we plug for you?
So next week, at the end of this month, as I said, we were doing the Michigan Oddities and Horror Fest. My buddy Andrew and I will have a table there selling hoodies and bracelets. That's actually where Amanda Kruger is going to be at, Beatrice.
Yes.
She'll be there. I'll finally be able to see her in person and get the Frozen Dead comic signed.
Nice.
And I'll be mostly hanging out with friends over the summer, but we're planning to we're actually getting ready to prep for our October haunt. And so coming up with that storyline and how we want to lay out the rooms, we're looking for a new building, because our original haunt was 1,100 square feet. So we were able to, and we looked at the room after it was done, and it was just shocking almost to see this small room we turned into a haunt. We only had 2 days to set it up.
Oh, wow.
So for hours, set up tents and tarps.
Yep. You made it work.
It did, yes. It was great, even though, it was smaller, but, I wouldn't have had it any other way.
Yep, because it worked the way that you did it. You made your vision come to life. I cannot wait to see the pictures on your social media of this, next week and in the fall. Like I'm so excited that I follow you now, so I can see everything that you're up to.
I'm excited. I'm glad that I follow you too.
Well, thank you. And you are just like one of the nicest people in the world, and I appreciate that. You've been nothing but nice to me, and thank you for that.
Thank you.
So, and I think that's something that Johnny shows us too. Like he is one of the kindest, most inclusive people I have ever met. So we have to plug him again. Make sure that you I love that we both have it. Yeah. That's so awesome. And the 25th anniversary one is coming out this fall. I've seen the cover. It's awesome. Yes. So I can't wait to share that with everyone too. But I want to thank you again so much for taking the time to talk to me. This has been wonderful.
Yes, thank you so much. It's been a great time.
Awesome. And I will see you on Facebook.
We'll see you later. Thank you.
Yep.